The world demands an explanation. People are like, well, why? It seems very normal that there should be a reason. It's more than what just feels right.
And I don't know how to describe it, mate, but it's kind of like when you get to the end of your day, having come from that place, you go to bed without a knot in your stomach.
I think I have an interesting place for us to start.
Cool. Hit me with it.
So I had I say a new client with me today and yesterday, but he and I have been chatting for a while. And so, but this was our kind of big get together. But he had an insight from one of our other chats, and he rocked up to our 2 days together wearing a beautiful silver bangle with his insight printed on it. It's a friend of his who owns some amazing kind of jeweler's design place in the UK that made it for him. And I just loved it. And I thought, oh, that would be a cool thing for us to discuss. So his insight was, you can just do things. That was it. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. You go there. He's like, yeah, it's the coolest thing ever. So there's the topic that I just love to put on the table. I'm interested to get your real-time reaction just to the idea of someone having something that just says, you can just do things.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's so weird that was what the inscription was, because, and just for the listeners' benefit, like, Al told me he was going to tell me something, but he didn't tell me what it was, so I had no idea what that inscription was. But it's very timely, because in the wake of our recent guests, Marina Galan and Lorna Davis in particular, something that has really surfaced up for me is this idea of, don't live every day like it's your last, live it like it's your first, which I think came up in Lorna's.
Yeah.
But I think, all of our guests kind of point to this in some way, but it's really surfaced for me in the last couple of weeks with those two phenomenal women. And I have been really putting that into practice. So, as you know, I've been up in Maine and very fortunate to be in this beautiful part of the world, which is my happy place. And waking up, and as a sort of morning mantra, as your feet hit the floor, it's like, I wonder what wonders the world will bring today. Like, this
Yep.
it's a new day. I'm in Disneyland, as Michael Singer likes to say. Like, just wake up, you're in freaking Disneyland, you hit the lottery, like, get over yourself. And from that place, I've sort of walked out into the kitchen area, turned on the coffee. Sometimes I've locked the house. Most nights I don't lock it. And the slider's open and the bug screen's there, and I slide that across and I step out onto the balcony, and there's this beautiful lake in front of me. Sometimes it's like a piece of glass. Sometimes it's quite volatile. Sometimes there's low clouds. Sometimes there's just a gorgeous sunrise. And you honestly, from that place where you just stare in wonder, you honestly feel like you could do anything that day. And deliberately, we don't have plans. So, we'll be like, oh, should we take the girls fishing? Yeah, maybe. Should we go for a boat ride? Yeah, maybe. Should we climb the mountain? Yeah, maybe. Should we cycle to Greenville? Yeah, maybe. But you don't have plans. It's like, what is going to happen today? I have no idea. And I'll give you a great example, because you know this character. One of our good friends up there, we call him Dr. Death, because he always seems to produce a bottle of tequila at the least appropriate time. Matt said to us late one evening, we've been hanging out and sitting in the stars. Actually, he took us for a boat ride and we watched the moon come up over the mountain, which was just spectacular. He's like, yeah, I'm going to take Ronan, his son, golfing tomorrow. Do you want to come with us to Jackman, and we'll just go play 9 holes? And this is like 11:28, that he's dropping us off at the dock. And we're like, yeah, sounds amazing. And he's like, I'll text you. If you reply by this time, I'll pick you up. If you don't reply, I won't pick you up. So we're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And Matt went away thinking there's no ways those two clowns are going to make it. And Vanny and I just woke up and I did exactly what I said. And I went out and then I just went back to Vanny and I said, hey, fancy some golf? She was like, yeah, it's a beautiful morning. Texted Matt. 15 minutes later, he pulled up in his truck, threw our clubs in the back. Our girls were still fast asleep. We didn't even tell them we were going. We just sent them a text. And we went and just had this magical round of golf with Matt and his young son. And it was, and then it's such a innocent example of this, but we had no idea what we were going to do or whether we could do it or should do it. We just did it. And I think that applies to everything. And when you wake up every morning in wonderment and you just get after life in whatever guise, professional, playing up in Maine, hanging out with buddies, or doing absolutely squat and sitting on the couch watching the Springboks beat Italy in the second test, it doesn't really matter. It's all about just approaching it from that place. And it all comes back to that, the come from again. It's there it is. But it is so powerful in that form because it's quiet. It's very quiet and you soak it all in. And you know what the coolest thing is when you go and do it, the glow afterwards is even more spectacular.
Well, yes, I dig that story. And I think it is a cool example of what's possible. I also think, and I'm just riffing on, you can just do things and picking up on what you said there, the couldas and the shouldas and all that. I think that's what becomes interesting to me. I think people, and when I say people, I include myself in this. So just in case anyone's listening thinking we're talking about other people, but not us. I'm saying when I say people, I'm including us. Get lost in how do I free myself up to be able to do what I would love, or how do I know what to do? What's the right thing to do? Or and get very lost in trying to have a justification or a reason for doing the things that they do. And I think what we're talking about here is letting go of the idea that you have to have a reason to do anything.
Or know why you're doing it.
Well, that's exactly it. Because the world demands an explanation, which is a bit of a problem. People are like, well, why? Why are you doing that? Like, my mom and dad are a great example. They go, why are you doing the podcast? I'm like, well, because I love doing the podcast. But does it make you money? I'm like, no. But why are you doing it then? Because I want to. And I can see there's a little bit of confusion there because they know that it costs money to do some of these things and it takes time. And I'm like, yep, no, I don't. How do you think it'll turn into something? I don't know. It might do. We seem to get more people that do like listening to it. We're getting cool guests on. All right. So what are you hoping for? I'm not hoping for anything. I really like doing it. And you can see bless them. And I don't think they're like, there's nothing wrong with my mom and dad. It's totally, it seems very normal that there should be a reason. It's more than because I want to, or I know to, or what just feels right. And that's why I love the statement. Well, no, you can just do things, and then you'll find out something. Now, the only thing I might challenge in your story, in your reflection, not, you know what I mean, my story, is I'm not even sure that it's always like, it's not always wonderful. And it's like sometimes you do something and you're like, oh, well, that was just freaking mediocre. Like, and you're still glad you've done it. You're like, oh, well, I guess that's what was in store. Like, there's an ordinariness to it that I'm seeing in it, which is, but you can just do things like anything, and sometimes it will be beyond amazing, and sometimes it will be as flat as a pancake, and that's okay. And actually, one of the chats we were having today, I won't say the person's name, but like neither of us play baseball. What he was talking about, I would love to have a higher batting average. When I called to do something, or I was like, I don't always do it. And I was like, yeah, no, me neither. And it's still true that you can just do things, and sometimes you won't. Sometimes you might not act on it, or you get in your head, but there's two things that we can know. One is that there's going to be another ball coming right along, and you might swing at it or you might not. It doesn't actually matter. But the thing that we were talking about that gets in a lot of people's way is the idea that, like, asking themselves, well, will it be a home run? Will it be like, what's going to happen? And it's like, I don't know. Like, the only thing you actually have agency over is you get to swing the bat. And sometimes you swing your bat and it just catches, everything is so perfect. It's like your Matt story. It's like, he's like, hey, do you want to come and play golf? And you're like, oh, actually, sure. And then you say yes the next morning. You're like, oh, it turns out we still want to play golf. Bang. Suddenly you're playing golf and you go, that was pretty fucking awesome. It's like, that felt like a bit like a home run. And that's cool. But all you did was swing your bat.
Mm.
And I quite like the letting go of any of the surrounding. I'm doing it because it's going to be, or I did it because it's just like, no, you can just do things.
Yeah, and at the risk of sounding like a Nike advert, the other morning when I mentioned to you and Linda that I'd been out for that long run, Vanny and I were setting off on a run, and we were like, how far are we going to go? And our usual loop is 6 miles. We call it the Hangtown Road. And she was like, no, I think we should go further today. Let's try to do 7. So I was like, okay, cool. So we'll just go out on the Boise because we know more or less the markers. And we ended up doing like 7.5 or something, 7.4. And it wasn't fun.
Mm.
It sucked. My hip was sore. We were tired. Vanny hasn't been sleeping brilliantly because of her hormone therapy.
Yep.
And so it was fucking miserable, parts of it. But it was still beautiful. It was still amazing. And I got to the end of it and I was like, how lucky am I that I get to suffer that way? And I'm not trying to sound like, I don't know, I'm not trying to sound like I'm just kind of spiritual spooging. Like it is literally a case of just being able to do it. And sometimes, to your point, doing it, not nice. Doesn't feel nice physically, mentally, emotionally, but you're just doing it. And when you're doing it, you're getting, and you remember to not engage in your innocent misuse of your thinking, which I loved from Marina, and you simply observe it for what it is, and you're aware of it. It is fantastic to watch. That's my experience.
Yeah. What is so I love that one, and I'm just drawn out like as we exchange stories and experiences, the illusions and the truth. So clearly, you must have had some inclination to go for a run.
Mm. Oh, we love running. We love running.
Let's go for a run. At some point, Vanny said, "Should we do another mile?" I was like, "Yeah, okay. Like, let's do a mile." It also turns out that like the experience you had was a sore hip. The experience I had was like sometimes it felt hard, and like you said, like sometimes it was like this is hard. And the reason why I think that's important is because the illusion that sometimes is, so if I just do things, I can just do things. If I just do things, will that mean that it will always be great or that I won't suffer? And it's like, no, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means you'll get to find out. That is it. You will get to find out what the experience is. End of. Like, should we run another mile? Yeah. And you'll find out what running another mile feels like that day. In another day, it might be like, well, I never want to run another mile again. But like, oh, don't turn it into a rule. It's just like you get to do stuff. And the bit I like to bring it back to is to your point, because you can. Well, because why do it? Well, because I can. And like I had the inclination. So I thought, fuck it, lately, yeah, let's go find out. And, I hinted in the conversation with Lorna, I was like, oh, like I've had the realization recently that that in many ways I've been, I don't know what the word is, inadvertently protecting myself from a made up narrative of something. Like, because I've had this thing, oh, well, I'll never do anything. I don't think I'll work for a company again. And now, as you know, it turns out that I am. Like, I'm chief of staff for a company called Jewel, which is going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it. Well, cards on the table for our listeners and watchers. Like, I had to get Bilos. I had to send Bilos a message saying, hey, mate, have you got an hour? Because I need to run this past you. And he was like, how are you? And I was like, I'm super stressed. I said, like, I've got this thing and I don't know what it's going to turn into. And so, like, and I was stuck. I was like, and you just laughed. And it sounds amazing. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know if it's going to be this. And I don't know if it's going to be that. And you were like, yeah, no, of course you don't. But it's whatever, it'll be whatever it's meant to be. And you'll just rock up and do your thing and you'll find out. And hey, you said it might be over in blink of an eye in like 6-12 months. You might be like, oh, it's not worked out. And I was turning it into such a big deal when the truth was, like, I knew I wanted to do it. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but like, you helped me come back to the truth of like, well, like, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I want to do it. I'm like, okay, great. Well, call it whatever you want to call it and just get on with it, which I'm doing. And I came onto this call with you saying, oh, feels great. Like, I'm really enjoying it already. And so again, like that's what I'm finding super interesting is it's the opportunity to let go of the idea that we need to know how anything's going to turn out in order to say yes to anything in the moment. It's just you can just do stuff. And the only question is like, well, do you want it? how does it like? It's like, yeah, okay, crack on then.
It's interesting because I think the cynic in all of us is like, okay, yeah, that sounds great, guys, but fuck me. Like when you put that into practice, not being thoughtful about stuff and just doing stuff because, you know, out of that emerges whatever you guys are talking about, and it sounds like you're smoking weed. That doesn't sound like an efficient use of your time.
Mm,
And you're like, oh, okay, cool. What if what if for a second you held it to be true that just doing things is the most efficient use of your time, whatever that means?
yeah, yeah,
Not in the sense that you're getting stuff done, because just do it might be taking yourself and sitting on the couch because actually your body needs a rest,
yeah,
right? But what if we held it to be true for a second that instead of living in your fear and then spending all of your energy trying to create the world you want or avoiding the world you don't want versus just doing, and by virtue of just doing, quite rapidly sometimes, and in other instances very slowly, putting one foot in front of the other towards where the universe kind of meets you at your point of action. And and you know what I love about this, and this is, I still don't have the right language for it, but it's coming clearer to me. I could either I can either sit and perseverate over doing something and attach myself to a whole string of narratives, or I could just go do, and out of the doing see with such clarity what I want to do next, what I'm drawn to do next, and achieve things beyond my wildest dream. And it's already happening. It has been happening. And it happens when we don't pay attention to our thinking. It happens all the time. And so by virtue of what actually transpires every single time, it is the most efficient way for you to spend your time. And that, I mean, you refer to it as the lightning path, but it fucking is the lightning path. But it's, I think a lot of people, including myself, when I'm in my thinking, see it as an abdication. Oh, well, that's just being lazy. That's like, because if you really sat down and thought about it, you'd probably do things differently.
yeah. No, I like I agree with you, and I also, yeah, no, I totally agree. As you were talking there, I was like, how many people do I know that do talk about procrastination? How do I like? Sometimes like I find myself procrastinating, and I'd love to know what the solution is to procrastination. And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, I have the solution. Like I know I have the solution to procrastination. Facts. It's just true. I know the solution. It's like do shit. Fact. Now, I'm not trying to dismiss the idea that we can get stuck. Like I am not. But actually, procrastination, the solution to procrastination is remarkably simple. And I actually, to the skeptic that might say, you guys are just like, it sounds very thoughtless. I'm like, actually, it's not thoughtless at all. It's, but it's not thoughtful. It is mindful. Like, I'm not saying to people to be reckless. I think, I think there's a different track, which is like people being reckless, which is just doing shit without even taking a pause to, like, the sacred pause exists in this as well. It's like, hey, if you notice like that you are getting into your head about the idea of like, should I do this or not? Or, well, it's like, hey, take a beat. ground yourself. Like plant your feet on the ground. Ideally, like I hear a beautiful like grounding experience in your morning routine of like I walk out, I step out onto your veranda or whatever and like breathe in the world and like it's super curious. I wonder what's in store for me today. It's like I think you can do that in the moment and be like, hey, let's just say you catch yourself procrastinating. It's like take a beat and ask yourself like what's true. And it's like what do you know? Like, I want to go and do that thing. It's like, well, then go and do it. Or sometimes procrastination is that you want to not do a thing, which is also, well, then you can just not do things. You just say, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go and do something else. I'm not doing that. And that's it. And that's it. If you know that you don't want to do something, you just actually sometimes then it's the act of saying, yeah, I'm not going to do that thing. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not even thinking about it anymore. And other times it's, yeah, I know what I want to do, but I'm scaring myself about the potential consequences of my actions. And that's when what you say is so true. Well, the most efficient way of living is just do it and find out. And even if the finding out is, oh, that was horrible. It's like, well, now you know. You're not living in your head. You're not living in the land of make believe. And actually, that is a fundamental choice. Like, do you want to live in the suffering of your idea of what might live on the other side of action, or are you willing to accept that on the other side of action is everything? And yeah, sometimes it might be painful, but painful is not suffering. Pain is just pain. And joy is joy. When joy is different to the idea of joy, well, it might be amazing. That's like the idea of joy is not the same as joy. And the idea of pain is not the same as pain. The idea of pain is suffering, and the idea of joy is fantasy. And I choose not to live as best I can, not to live in the fantasy of something and not to live in the suffering of the idea, but to choose to actually experience it and go, yeah, like I might experience pain or I might experience joy, but there's only one way to actually find out. And it lives in that you can just do things. And if someone said why, well, to find out. Just to find out what's there.
Yeah, it's funny. Yesterday, we were driving back from Maine, and Fanny had seen this house in this really cute seaside town. She's always wanted to live by the beach and to be an hour closer to Maine, live near the beach, live near some friends, not be too far from our other friends. So there's this cute little town called Newburyport. And so we just decided to call up a realtor and go and look at two houses. So we drove down, we left quite early in the morning, and we drove down, we met the realtor, and we looked at this one house, and it was beautiful, like high-end finishes, high ceilings, wouldn't have to do a thing, no grass to cut, because I fucking hate grass. Like I think it's a desert. And then and just a gorgeous lock up and go room for the girls, and it was just like amazing. And then we went to another house which was really shit but beautiful in its own characterful way, but just so much work and just a money pit and what have you. And then we went to this place across the river in the New Hampshire side of, because Newburyport's right on the New Hampshire-Massachusetts border. So we drove back north just for a couple of minutes, and we sat at this gorgeous little lunch spot overlooking the water and the boats going back and forth. And we were like, wow, we could really imagine like coming here for a cocktail at sunset, watching all the fishermen and the boats and the this and the that. And and then we were like, it's really interesting. Like, it's a cute town, but like we both ended up saying like what we have right now is just amazing. And yes, we don't live right by the sea, and we are an hour further south from our happy place. But just doing something like that with no plan in mind, just going to sea and immersing ourselves. So then the decision we took was, oh, well, maybe next year in June, we'll come and do an Airbnb here for a month and see what it's like to live in the community. But maybe we won't. But it was so lovely. Like the whole experience is, and I don't know how to describe it, mate, but it's kind of like when you get to the end of your day, having come from that place, you go to bed without a knot in your stomach. Because I still had to get on a plane at 10 o'clock, last night. But at no point during the day was I ever stressed about time or anything. I just had complete faith that just doing and following our noses was what needed to be done. And I still worked, still got on a call with a guy in Spain, spoke to a couple of people in Massachusetts. Like it didn't make a difference, but just doing and going and seeing and following your nose it shows you stuff. And now I'm infinitely wiser about what it might be like to go and live on the North Shore because I've been curious for a while.
Mm. No, the power of doing things, but also the power of like it's like that when we say you can just do things, often like the there's so much to be seen in a single step.
Yeah.
And it's totally underestimated. But when we're thinking about doing things versus actually doing things, very different. It's a very different experience. So like the thinking about doing things is, what would it be like to live on the North Shore? Like, should we move to the North Shore? Should we sell here and move there? It's like the thing is a big thing. But real life doing things is like little. It's often smaller. It's like, oh, I don't know. Well, how about we take a ride out and check out a property in the North Shore? Like, that's like doing a thing with little t. Whereas when we're thinking about them, I think we think about the thing as though there's a single jump that could be made. Like, should we like move to North Shore as though that's even on offer, which like more often than not, it's not on offer. It's like, well, do you remember we used to, at Mimecast, we used to follow the Jim Collins Good to Great book, which is a great book. And recently I've been remembering like some of the things from that. And one of the ones that's been coming up a lot is fire bullets before you fire the cannonball.
Yeah.
And I think about that at the minute, like you and Vanny just fired a bullet. You're like, what? Let's just go and visit a property. And you're like, oh, not for right now. But next year, you're like, well, maybe we'll fire another bullet and we might book an Airbnb. And hey, at some point, you might fire the cannonball and you're like, yeah, like let's go all in on this and really see what it's like. But I think when we think about doing things, it looks like a cannonball. And the actual experience of doing things is just constant, is bullets. And then when you do fire the cannonball, it doesn't even feel like a cannonball, like because you've had so much experience that you're so all in, you're on whatever it might look like. It actually just looks like another bullet. It's like, it doesn't look as big. Sometimes maybe it does, but you have you've kind of you've taken so many steps that you're like, now we're ready to take a big leap. Anyway, that's just what popped into my head as you told that. It is just, you can, I'm so enamored with just the statement, you can just do stuff, but you can run so many experiments.
And that is the joy of it. That is the joy of it, is the experimentation. Because, we talk about curiosity a lot. And it really is. It's like curiosity and action kills fear.
Yeah. And you can always ask yourself, what would be the simplest and easiest way for me to dip my toe in the water? Like, what would that look like? I'm like, well, just try that. Which also is another way of just like demystifying the fearful thinking, isn't it? It's like, you don't have to, you know, I don't know why. Like, you don't have to like strip yourself down to get naked and like expose everything all in one go. It's like, just, you can.
But I think one of the things that came up for me when you were saying, "Oh, it's all about taking the step," is sometimes you do step on a thorn.
Yeah, of course.
And it hurts.
Yep.
But what I'm really enjoying is seeing the beauty of stepping on the thorn. And because you experience something that doesn't live up to expectations, and there's a big, wonderful illusion all on its own. And the cannonball, the strike that you so desperately wanted to make, the perfect shot, didn't materialize. And all of that being okay is liberating in itself. And you have actually been set free from the attachment to all of that illusionary thinking when you pay attention to the thorn and what the thorn is showing you.
Well, so let me ask, so, because you're in metaphor, like, what's the thorn showing you? Like, if for the listener who goes, well, what's the thorn showing me other than I stepped in the wrong place?
The thorn is showing you that, in my mind,
Yeah.
the thorn is showing you that you can't get it wrong.
But I'm purposefully playing the kind of devil's advocate, even though someone told me off for using that the other day. So it's been in my mind. I'll come back to that. It's very funny. Like, I don't like that turn of phrase. I'm like, I don't know everyone. But I'm playing devil's advocate here, and they go, well, you did get it wrong because you stepped on a thorn. And if you got it right, you wouldn't have stepped on the thorn. You would have stepped on like a clean patch of land.
It's the difference between seeing what you needed to see versus what you wanted to see.
Okay. And I'm still going to play it. So someone goes, well, what do you think you might have needed to see by stepping on a thorn?
2 things. The journey continues.
Yeah.
And you're going to be okay.
Here's my take. I think everything you said is true, by the way. So, and I think what you've pointed to is something really, really important. And it takes a bit of getting your head around. Because in the world of preferences, and someone gets given a choice, do you want to stand on a thorn? If you're going to go for a walk, would you choose to stand on a thorn, or would you choose to to tread on a piece of land that that has no thorns. You go, well, if I had a choice, I think I would choose to go for the option that doesn't have a thorn wedging itself in my foot. And you go, okay, great. Would that still be true if you knew that by virtue of not getting a thorn in your foot, that the next step resulted in you being smacked by a car? Oh, well, that changes everything. But now I would probably be delighted to take the choice with the thorn in my foot because now things are different because I've seen more. And I think that's, for me, what I hear when you talk about it is like delighting in the experience of what is, that even the thorn is teaching me something. But in my experience, I sometimes don't know in the moment what that is. I don't always know in the moment what that is.
It's hard though. It is hard. Like when you're feeling the brunt of life's battering ram and it's hitting you square in the face, smashing your teeth and breaking your nose. It's hard to understand what the purpose of all of this is.
Exactly.
But to then, with all the faith in the world, not latch onto a narrative about it, but to keep going from a place of quiet is where you see the gold.
Exactly. And that is so that's what I was driving to is, and I think that that's what you get really curious about when you say, I'm really in, like, kind of enjoying the experience of sometimes having a thorn in my foot and being like, okay. Like what I hear between your words is that, like, you're really curious about what it is that it's to be seen because you've got a thorn in your foot, because you're no longer on an automatic pilot, that getting a thorn in your foot means that you took a wrong step. Because like, it's a metaphor, isn't it? Like, you've taken a step and you got a thorn in your foot, and you feel the pain of the thorn in your foot, and you go when we're in autopilot, which a lot of us do, go through life on autopilot. We go, oh, fucking thorn in my foot. How did I get this so badly wrong? Like, I should have gone left, not right, because if I'd gone left, I wouldn't have a thorn in my foot. And then you go, no, there was no left. It didn't exist because this was your path. And hooray to you for walking the path. And you get thorns in your foot. That's okay. Like, it actually doesn't even mean anything. It just means you're alive. And there might be something more for you to see of, like, oh, why are you making the big deal of having a thorn in your shoe or in your foot?
Growing up as a young South African, we were given a good dose of history about Shaka Zulu, the legendary king of the Zulus and military tactician. And the story was he always used to make his warriors run across fields of thorns. And it must have been incredibly painful and calluses and sore, but eventually they just built up this wonderful calloused layer. So when they went into battle, he would choose ground which he knew was thick with thorns, and he would get the enemy to charge at him across this thing, and his impies could run across these fields of thorns, and that is the beauty of it, is you don't understand why you're getting that thorn now, but you understand that it's forming a callus that will allow you to do so much more.
Yeah, yeah. It's for those people that go, I want to be free. And you go, you are free. And you're like, yeah, but I don't want to have thorns in my foot. And it's like, okay, now you're not free. But only in your mind, because freedom is, it's like, actually, I just love that, because I think about the people who I sometimes find myself in awe of, because they just like, they seem fearless and totally free. And it's just that they've walked on so many thorns, and they know that, like, that's the game is not the game of life is not one of avoiding thorns. The game of life is walking through the fields and having walked on so many thorns, but seen so much beauty as a result of the walking the path, that, like, now maybe you've built up a layer of just I don't know to take the metaphor. It's a layer of, I think the callus is like is it's almost like disinterest. It's just like, oh yeah, like, I'm not, I don't know what it is. But, like, it seems amazing though, because but I don't know if you can put a word to it. Like, what is that? Um, what is the corresponding psychological thing? Because physicality is great, isn't it? Because we love the fact that we can feel a thorn in our foot. You're like, oh, like, that's kind of cool to know. But what is that? Like, if you just do stuff, what do you build up that's the equivalent of what you've kind of pointed at through that?
I mean, my word for it is delight. It's you delight in the thorns. You know that they could cause sepsis if you don't pay attention to them, but you delight in them. They're there. Sometimes they still hurt. Sometimes, even with all the calluses in the world, they still are long enough to pierce through all the way through to the raw bone, and they're going to hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you learn to delight in the thorns, and it's a, I always think of that story that I related when I lost my passport on the plane, and I was completely fucked. I mean, I was in London, hadn't gone through passport control, had a week of activity lined up, like, and it was going to just all be blown away to go and sort out an emergency passport to get back home. And the overwhelming feeling was, oh, I'm really curious about how this is going to go.
Yeah, like, I'm writing down words. I'm literally writing down the words that you say, because I think this is what's on offer. I think because you go curious, delight. I'm thrown in. My word is acceptance.
Yeah.
I think it's all of these things.
It's faith. It's your word. It's your word. Faith. Faith is the big one. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm super curious about this. This pain sucks. This is uncomfortable, but it's kind of giving me the giggles, because I've got such blind faith that I'm taking great delight in this discomfort.
Yeah, no, like, I'm just scribbling things down, because I think you've got, like, um I think this is like the choice, things happen, things will happen on the other side of doing things. And first of all, it's like, are you willing to accept whatever shows up? It's just like, that's a question for everyone to answer. Like, are you willing to accept that, like, you just don't know, like, things are going to show up? Sometimes you love them. Sometimes you'll be like, You might be like, fucking hell, that just stung. But are you gonna accept it, or are you gonna resist? You know, are you going to be like, and then when you get there, are you going to be, are you willing to be curious, or are you going to be closed? Like, it's just interesting. Like, a curious mind is the opposite of a closed minded. Like, I know, no, I know, like, I know a thorn in my foot is bad. Or it's like, maybe, maybe. But like, are you willing to be curious that, like, what else is there to be seen here? And then I don't know, the delight one is interesting to me because the place I go next is like fear or faith, which I often come back to. It's like, where are you going to operate from? Are you going to operate from fear, or are you going to operate from faith? Because it's a thing that's like a choice. And then I'm like, I wonder if it's like, because hey, if you're willing to accept and be curious and operate from faith, then who knows what delights are on offer? You know, I just like that delight thing feels to me, it's like you experience delight because you've made those choices. You're willing to accept, you're willing to be curious, and you've got total faith. And therefore you experience delight in it all because you're like, oh my God, there's so much to be experienced. Even, your delight in the suffering. I don't know if that resonates. I'm just playing it back to you, like how I like the choice that I feel that it seems to be on offer when you say delight. It seems to me that there are decisions, there's choices that have made and I think I do think in places I've made them as well, whether I've made them as deeply as you, but and I think there may be choices we have to make over and over again. But that when you say delight, it feels to me as like it's almost like that becomes a byproduct if you're willing to step in one direction or another.
Trying to find I can't remember how Michael Singer puts it, but he puts it so beautifully about how freaking lucky we are to be here. 13.8 billion years of evolution for us to be standing where we're sitting, or standing where we're standing, sitting where we're sitting. And his concept, like we're sitting on a piece of spinning rock literally in the middle of nowhere.
And 13.8 billion years worth of things have all had to happen for us. Whoever you are listening right now, wherever you are, every single moment of every single eon of time up until this moment has had to happen for us to just be here talking or listening, like, which is incredible.
So why wouldn't you just go fucking do it and get curious? Because if you're not curious about that first statement, then I would argue that there's something wrong with you.
No, I wouldn't argue there's anything wrong with you at all. I'm going to bring this one, like, I'll answer your question because it's actually Maria Galland who told us perfectly. There's nothing wrong with you. You've just forgotten that that's true.
Right.
There's nothing wrong. You just forgotten.
You've innocently forgotten.
And
so from that vantage point, of you being here, you specifically, you, the listener, listening to this right now, 13.8 billion years of events have happened exactly how they were going to happen, the perfect unfolding for you and only you to be exactly where you are right now.
Yeah.
And from that place, go do.
Because
Because
you can just do stuff.
you can just do stuff.
And for no other reason than to find out what's next.
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to accept that, like, you'll have no idea what it will be, but you can be curious and have faith that you are also part of the perfect unfolding. That's, to coin like the title of our friend Christie's book, we're all part of the perfect unfolding, and it is not up to us to question whether or how that's all taking place. It's just to play our part and to find out, because you can take delight in your role. Like, we have a role to play, and our role is to do the next thing that we know to do. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's actually a pretty cool place for us to bring this to a close, because it's kind of like it's captured again. Like, you can just do things. And of course, you'll forget that it's that easy because we are meaning making machines, but we can notice when we're doing that and then remember, oh yeah, like, I can just do things because that's what I'm here to do. And 13.8 billion years of the universe unfolding tells me so. What's your bumper sticker, mate? What's your bumper sticker if you had to one for this exploration?
13.8 billion years, so I can go do.
Perfect. Yeah, 13.8 billion years says so.
Say so. Exactly.
All right, matey, this has been cool. Thank you to and thank you to my client for printing that on his silver bangle, which I just love. I might get one of those made. But and to our listeners, hey, 13.8 billion years says so. So in the spirit of that, until with you again, go forth and live into your brilliance, whatever that step looks like. And we will see you next week.